you going? My name's Ben, this is SSR, and on today's episode what we're going to do is show you around, do a tour for my home studio. When my wife and I built this house, we actually wanted to make a space where a studio could go. Now that would be so I could write, record music, and also a place where I could do content videos and do photography. So yeah, we wanted like a home studio and really a sort of content oasis, if you will. Purpose built for all that sort of stuff. If you're not new to the channel, you would have seen that I've actually done a studio build video on that. Basically not when it was all a frame and everything like that, but how I've filled it, what I've put where, all the gear and stuff like that. But it was pretty bare bones during that video, so I wanted to come back, do an actual proper tour of what I've got, go through what sort of recording gear I have, what instruments I have, what sound editing stuff I've got, and all the sort of aesthetics of the studio here. So yeah, thanks for coming back to the channel, and let's get right into it. So we'll start you guys off where I was just sitting for the introduction there, and that's basically my hangout section. So put a couch here, which is the old couch we had from the old place before we got the new big L-shaped one. And basically, yeah, just a hangout space, place for the guys to sit while we are doing some recording, place for my wife and my dog to sit if I'm playing games and stuff like that, or if I just want to come in here and listen to some music and chill. So yeah, nice wide 3-seater lounge there. Got a little coffee table, some candles and stuff. Always gotta have the candles. Smells great in here at all times. Now I do have these two sound panels here. Now basically what these guys are made of is, and you won't be able to see it because they're in there, but they're made of, they got insulation, sound deadening insulation in there. They got this nice thick fabric, and then they're backed by ply. So I've got two here, as this is quite a wide flat wall here. Need to absorb some of the sound that's coming there. I've also popped a little LED tube light here. So I can change it to whatever color I like, or have it rotating and flicking through colors. At the moment I've got it for a pink because my other lamps, which are controlled by a Google Home system, are set to a purple, sort of UV sort of light. If you don't have smart globes and you're thinking about getting a Google Home system, definitely get it, because I can change them to whatever color I like. Also, I can turn all the lights on and everything when I'm wanting to come in here and do some work. So yeah, pretty simple area. Basically just got the lounge, got a couple of lights, got the sound panels. I also, this is one of the windows here. We still wanted the room to have windows when we built it. So I put these blackout curtains, which are actually quite thick and do absorb a decent amount of sound. And then just got the standard blinds there for outside. So it blocks out a lot of light. It's practically this dark in here all times a day. It is night time at the moment when I'm filming it, so extra dark. But yeah, do a little bit for the sound as well, which is always a plus. Now moving on to my sort of display shelf corner. It's not really a corner. Basically I've got two IKEA shelves, one there, one there. Now they do have a sort of walnut texture, because all the timber in the house that we have, and also the studio desk, which I'll show you in a sec, is all walnut. So walnut on top, this sort of black powder coated metal there. I basically just wanted a space to store all my camera gear and any pedals and stuff like that. Starting at the top, I've got a couple of different mics there. I've got a kick drum mic, a Beta 57 and a normal 57, and then some clips. I do have some other mics, but they're in the booth, which I'll show you in a bit. These ones are currently not getting used, but do get used time to time. I've got my Zion Crane gimbal. I believe it's the Zion Crane 2 Lab, I think. Don't quote me on it. Great gimbal. I've used it a couple of times for a few weddings and stuff like that. But yeah, really good addition for videography. Then move over to my cool little Batman light, which a colleague bought for me. So just a little bit of an atmospheric bit, which is cool. I then also go over to something which is really cool. It's not working at the moment, but I do intend to get it working and do some photography with it. Basically, that's a camera that my great-grandfather used when he was traveling around the world. So yeah, really cool film camera. It's actually that old. That's the flash there, but it's that old that that's the light meter there. So instead of having on a camera at the moment, obviously all the light meters and stuff like that, exposure settings, that would tell you if something was overexposed and what you should put your settings to on the camera, which is pretty cool. Got a couple of pedals that I don't really use at the moment. Sometimes we will get them out for recording, but because we mainly record digital, don't really have a use for them at the moment. They did used to be on my board though before I switched over to the Boss Katana. So I've got a Crybaby Wah, a DS1 distortion, and then I think that's a DD7 Boss digital delay. That's just a generic overdrive that I've had since I was probably 15 or something like that, so got that there just in case. Moving on to the bottom shelf, cool little light which I bought from IKEA. I'm not sure if you can see it on the film, but it's almost like a filament one, which is really, really cool. Got some Taco Bell glasses, never worn them, just a cool little display thing, a little collector's thing there. What you'll probably notice throughout this studio tour is I do have a lot of Dragon Ball stuff because I do love Dragon Ball Z. So that is Goku there, doing Kamehameha. Really cool figurine, got it for Christmas a couple of years ago. Love DBZ. Like Dragon Ball Super. Love the games. Now this is usually where all my camera gear would sit. Obviously I'm recording with the camera at the moment, so my A7 III and my 35mm lens are currently on the camera, but that's my 85 there that I mainly use for photography. So yeah, when I'm not using this camera, it'll sit there with my mic and stuff like that. Got a little Vegeta pop doll. I can't remember what they're called. You'll know them, they're everywhere, they're at EV Games and stuff like that. Now that's the visor one in the Saiyan outfit, so that should be from the Saiyan saga, which is really, really cool. A couple of bits and pieces, got an SD reader, got a, not an ND filter, a polarizing filter there. Cool little flamingo neon there, which is awesome. It's like a pinky purple colour, which is cool, and flamingos are cool as well, so don't at me. And then got my dad's latest album CD there. The reason why I got that displayed is this photo here I actually took, so it'd be cool to display it. And that's just a lens cap there. Now underneath, I do have all my guitars apart from one. So, starting off, I have, and I'll bring it into the light a bit more, my twin humbucker Telecaster. So if you have seen us live, December's Deadline, or seen any music videos, that's pretty much what I'm rocking the whole time. It's on almost all the records as well. Really, really good guitar. Basically it's a maple neck and a New Zealand carrywood body. I do have a Seymour Duncan Pegasus in the bridge, and there's a JB in the neck. Great guitar. I still use it in December's Deadline, but I've got a new guitar which I will show you and actually do a separate video on because I only just got it built. I've used that a lot. Beside it, you'll see my 52 reissue Telecaster there. Now, both of these tellies and my baritone are actually made by my dad. He's a guitar luthier. Yeah, so he actually built that 52 reissue. That was pretty much my first guitar ever. So I learnt a lot of songs on that. Used it all the time for my old band, the What's-Her-Names. All the recordings are on that, all the live is on that. That has had some use. It is, I don't know if you can really see it, but there are some slight relic marks on there. I didn't do those intentionally, that's literally just from pure use from it. I have used this guitar a lot, it has been thrashed. Yeah, this is a really good workhorse there. Beside it is my jazz bass, again, made by my dad. I actually started playing out bass rather than guitar. I didn't learn on this bass, I actually learned on a Fender Bronco bass. So he made me this phenomenal bass. I've had it, again, since I was probably 14, 15. I've learned a lot of songs on that, played a lot of songs on it. That is the bass I used for my old band, Gorilla. Which, not to be confused with the Gorillas, it's old school metalcore. Yeah, phenomenal bass, really, really good. I don't know what the wood is in that one, same as the 52 reissue. Obviously both of them are maple necks, but I'm not sure about the body. Phenomenal bass, love jazz basses. Yeah, that's awesome. I still use that when I'm doing demos and stuff like that. And then just got an acoustic guitar there, which I unfortunately don't get a lot of use at. I don't even really write on it because of the style of music we're playing, but it is there just in case. Yeah. Beside it, just a little, nothing special, just a little air purifier. If things get a bit stuffy in here, I've got bad allergies, so I usually crank this bad boy every couple of weeks to keep the room nice and fresh. Now moving over to the workstation, studio desk, this is where I sit the majority of the time. Like I said over there, we went with walnut for the desk and all the other timber features in the house. It has, I wouldn't know what colour to call this, it's not really a gunmetal, probably like a medium grey. Not quite a graphite either. Steel legs on the bottom there. It is adjustable, but it's not an electric one. Very, very wide desk, this one. I don't know the measurement off the top of my head, but nice and wide, nice and deep. I hate there being heaps of clutter on the desk. I know it probably looks like it on the camera, but it's actually quite clear. So yeah, I wanted to go something really, really deep. So could mount the monitors on the side rather than sitting on top of the desk. And if I had a couple of things like on there at the moment, like I do at the moment, it wouldn't be taking up too much space. Now, as you see, this mic here, which is attached to the desk there, a boom mic, I believe they're called. I really should know, seeing as I'm fully qualified sound engineer, but anyway. That's got a Audio Technica, I believe it's a AT, wait for that to focus. It's not going to focus for me. It's an AT2035. Great little condenser mic that one there is. So we do use that for any demo vocals and stuff in here, or if I'm writing, I just want to pop some ideas down. But I've got it there for when I'm gaming. Really, really clear mic. Has a few controls on it as well. Also got my Sony headphones. Now these are noise cancelling ones, and they are Bluetooth, but I don't use them for Bluetooth anymore because I don't really listen to music on my phone. I basically just use this for when I'm recording at night, I want to be quiet, or mixing, and also playing games as well. So really good headphones. They block out a lot of noise. If you do have ones like this, and you do have them through Bluetooth, they actually have a digital noise cancelling feature as well, which is phenomenal. I've used that when being on airplanes a few times, and it cuts out all the noise, which is really, really good. Now, monitor wise, I'm not a huge computer geek, so I don't really know the exact specs, but I've got an Acer monitor here, and then I've got a BenQ monitor here. Now, BenQ monitor is what I play my games on, watch videos on, record videos on, because this is actually HDR 4K and fairly color accurate monitor there, so a little bit bigger than that one as well. Later in the future, I probably will get the same version for over here, or maybe a slightly better version with a higher frame rate, because this does only go up to 60 frames. But yeah, two really good monitors. That one's fairly color accurate as well, but that one's just got a bit better color science on it. So I do a lot of my video and photography editing on there. Google Home system, like I said before, phenomenal. Has a mic and a speaker on there, so you can watch videos on it. You can call people, but you know, first and foremost, you can give commands to the rest of the house, which all of our house actually has smart globes and smart power and everything like that. So yeah, really handy if you're like me and hate running around and turning all the lamps off at night time. Got a little Funko Pop there again. Now this one isn't DBZ, this is from Dune the movie. I love Denis Villeneuve as a director. Love that movie, phenomenal. Top it off with Marjan Vegeta Punk doll, and also Shenron one, which is awesome. They're sitting on the top of my two monitors there. Like I said, DBZ, love it. You're going to see that everywhere. Sound insulation wise, I've just got some basic foam panels there, either side here of the Joker poster. Again, love the Joker, so that's there. Yeah, this is basically just along that flat wall there. I probably will get some better sound insulation for either side there, but seeing as there's nothing really pointed at it, it's just to remove any reflections I get from the other walls. but as you can probably hear in here, it's quite dead, which is really, really good. Now, chair-wise, I just have a basic bitch gaming chair. It's Typhoon. Fairly comfortable. It does come with this additional padding. The only thing I don't like about this desk is the arms don't fold away like my old one do. They do go up and down, but if you want to pull them off, you actually got to literally pull them off. So when I am playing guitar, it is a little bit annoying, but it is super comfortable for gaming. I do have my audio interface, which is a Steinberg UR44. So it's got 4 inputs on the front, then I believe it's got another 4 on the back, which I use for my preamps. On top, I do just have a Behringer DI box, which, because we do digital recording, we actually recorded everything for the new December's Deadline stuff in here. So basically that goes into that, and then into my desk, and then into my interface there, which I will get to my desk in a minute. Great cheap little DI box, to be honest. And we'll go on to the basically recording zone now. So onto the recording zone. So this sits beside my desk here. First and foremost, this is my audio desk that I'm using, which is a Yamaha M508. Now, if you're familiar with the old school Yamaha desk stuff, they actually called them the Japanese because they were a Japanese version of the Neve. Preamps in them are fantastic. This is a smaller version of the most popular one, which have got slightly different preamps, but they still sound amazing. So I'm basically using this as preamps. I'm not mixing on here whatsoever. So like I said over here, because I'm mainly doing guitar, what I'll do is guitar into pedals, which I'll go through in a sec. DI box into the desk, and then into the interface. Probably asking, usually people go DI straight to the interface because it's the right signal level, but because digital signal has quite a particular sound, I do like to run it through the desk to add that analog sound there. Adds a bit of warmth to it, a bit of character, without giving it too much colour. And obviously, if whatever guitar I'm playing through does have, you know, a bit too crazy low mids or highs, I can adjust that out as well. So yeah, I've got heaps of channels there, 8 channels, but I mainly only use 1 or 2. If I am if I am practicing with my actual amp, I will be using 2, so a condenser mic and a just a SM57. But yeah, mainly just using the 1 at the moment for my guitar, which is awesome. So, pedal board. Nothing too exciting here because I am using the Boss Katana, which I'll show you in a sec. I just have a foot switch for that. It's got all built-in effects, so I really don't have a use for external effects. So I set up scenes on there, and I can switch between those there, which is awesome. I do have a Boss wireless system as well, which is a WL60. Really good. It actually has uses packs rather than little dongle, which is great. You can obviously stick them to your straps on your guitar and stuff like that. So currently plugged in at the moment because when I'm in the studio, I plug my guitar in by cable because it's slightly better sound. But yeah, when I'm practicing, I'm playing live, wireless all the way. That then goes into my tuner here. Now it's a Korg Pitch Black. Phenomenal tuner, really accurate, fits the whole aesthetic of the board as well. So yeah, like that there. I may down the track get a overdrive pedal, but because a Boss Katana is a solid state amp, it's not really a use for it, because putting an overdrive in front of a solid state amp doesn't have the same effect that a tube amp does. Moving on to the stuff that I do have in the rack. Now the rack is just something that my wife and I put together. It's not a proper one. We were just using leftover bits that we had. So I do have a Focusrite channel strip here. Now that's what I used to use before I switched to the desk here. I still use it from time to time. I actually run my bass through here rather than the DI. Just because it's got built-in compressors and stuff like that, so rather than using a digital compressor. Actually sounds really good. Does still have a bit of a digital sound to it, even though it's got a built-in tube colorizer there, but yeah, still really good. And then onto my headphone amp, headphone splitter, whatever you want to call it. That's by Behringer again. I mainly used to use this for when we're doing practices in here. All I really use it for now is if I am in here tracking vocals with Saxon, or yeah, we're doing a couple of things at once. Run the headphones through there, get a lot of volume out of it. Yeah, really good cheap rack unit there. Again, Behringer, you can't really complain with. Moving over to my little amp setup I've got here. So basically I've got my main workhorse amp here, which is the Boss Katana Head 100 amp Mark II, I believe. This is basically my live and practice amp. So really compact. They do call it like a lunchbox amp. Super lightweight because it is solid state. Like I said, it does have all the built-in effects as well. So I've got a couple of different scenes hooked up here. If you've heard of the Boss Katanas, you'll know they're actually really good. Especially if you're not wanting to fork out the money to go for like a Kemper or an Axe FX. Obviously nowhere near as in-depth as that with modeling and stuff, but yeah, very good amp. I highly recommend it into someone that's wanting to get away from having heaps of pedals. Just run everything through there and they can just literally plug and play at any venue they go to. So yeah, really good. On the bottom, I do have my little, I believe it's a 20 watt combo amp that my dad made for me. Again, he actually made that at the same time that he made my Yole Tele. So very old amp. Well, not very old. We made it when I was 14, 15, but yeah, probably about 15 years old now. Great little amp. Any clean stuff we're doing, I'll use it through that. All the what's name stuff, I used it for that. Yeah, brilliant amp. I wish I used it more. I just don't really have a use for it with the December's Deadline stuff, but I'm sure it will come back to play at some stage. And then above it, excuse the mess, but I've just got basically all my cables here. So I've got mic cables, power cables, extra headphones, headphone cables, basically everything there just on the side of the amp booth, readily accessible. I didn't want to store it away and have it in drawers because that would just take up too much space. So having this just drilled to the side there is actually really convenient. Now, Nick Scarley lamp. Again, got walnut on the stem or arm there, a white top. Now excuse the cables if you love cable management, try not to have a heart attack. And a concrete base there. So beautiful lamp. Got that when I used to work at Nick Scarley. Again, got a RGB smart globe in there, which is all controlled, which is really good. And then behind it, I've just got a bass trap wedge foam in there, just in case we do have any bass in there, considering the amps are coming from here, so it would be good to stop the bass from rattling around in there. Oh, actually that reminds me, I forgot to show everybody that I've got one of those over here as well, just for this corner. Going back to this corner as well, because it's got the foam in the corners, has the two big absorber panels there and the couch, it's quite dead in this corner. If you have space for a couch in your little home studio, highly recommend putting it in there because they soak up so much sound. So yeah, it definitely can make a room sound really good. So yeah, onto the last wall at the moment, which I'll step back so you can see it all. I do have my light there, so you guys can see a bit better in here. It's really mood lighting in here. So basically what this corner is for is this where I'm going to be filming all my playthroughs on guitars and stuff like that. So I've got this nice mat set up here with a little stool. So yeah, any filming content that you see for guitar playthroughs and stuff like that will probably be done in this corner here. Again, got two of those diffuser panels there, or absorber panels, made of the same stuff. Two there, gets rid of that rebound of audio from that wall there, which is great. Also got an additional two bass traps there, which is awesome. And then the blackout blinds, which are good at absorbing sound as well there, because there's another window here. I do have this cube and the sphere here, which do light up. Don't have them plugged in at the moment. But yeah, they're quite cool for adding atmosphere. And of course, El Camino hat, because El Camino represent amazing Mexican restaurant. If you live in Australia and love tacos, got to try it. So yeah, this would basically be my content corner for performing and stuff like that. And then to the left, you'll see the amp booth that you saw a little bit of before. So this booth is made by my dad again. He's pretty handy and generous. So he made all the booth there, and then I lined it in foam. So I've got foam all down the door there, and then for all the internals here. So if I step in, you'll be able to hear super dead in here. Yeah, even though the room itself is pretty dead, it's super dead in here. And the whole intention for here was so I could blast my katana into the wall, into the actually designated 2x12, I believe, Boss Katana cab that they make for it. And not piss off my wife or the neighbours or anybody else. Because we do digital recording for the guitars now, recording wise, you don't record into here, but basically when I use this is for when I'm practicing, because the digital program that I use, STL Tone Hub, isn't great at switching on the fly. There's no like foot switch, so when I am practicing our set, play through that into a condenser mic and a not a beta, just an SM57, out of the wall into the desk, into the interface. Yeah, really good. I'll actually go in here now. It's going to get really dark. And you probably won't be able to see me, but it is super dead in here, which is great. We are actually recording Saxon in here vocal wise tomorrow, from when I'm filming this video, so really good. Won't wake my baby up, and also obviously can get a more accurate vocal sound out of here. So really great booth if you are practicing guitars and you do have like a loud amp. Highly recommend it, but it is quite a build, so there is some other alternatives that you can go for. Really happy with that. Very thankful that my dad made that for me. And that pretty much wraps us up. I do have a bit of storage up there. Not really. Don't really want to show that off. But yeah, that pretty much wraps it up. I will get a bit of a wide view of the studio. So going from the chair to my display there, and then my desk and everything there. So yeah, quite a large room. And yeah, that concludes the video pretty much. So I didn't want it to drag on too long, but yeah, did really want to show the space I have here. Again, like I said at the start of the video, needed this space to kind of have a section away from the house. I can come in, get in a creative mindset, have the vibes going in here, and yeah, really create some all-around general art. So yeah, love my little space here. Everybody that comes in that hasn't seen it before is like, oh my god, wow, I wouldn't even know this was here. Not quite big enough to record full bands in here or have full bands practicing anymore, but yeah, a good little space. If you do have any questions about any of the gear I have in here, or any tips for, you know, creating a small space or a bigger space at your home into a home studio, feel free to drop them in the comments down below. But yeah, I'm basically no professional when it comes to fitting out a room acoustically properly. Acoustic engineer, that's probably it. Give you some pointers for, you know, little things, cheap things you can do to make a creative space like this. So yeah, got the lights. You probably saw the fairy lights around there. I'm big into the vibe and atmosphere of places, so really needed this to be a real vibey place that people can just come in here and chill. I can come in here and chill and, you know, come up with an idea for content or music and record stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you loved it, give it a like and subscribe. If you didn't, reload it, watch it through again, give me another chance. Without further ado, my name's Ben, this is Art, and I will see you in the next one.